Howdy. Wanted to show off the Snecx Mono block, meaning from a single piece of titanium utility tool. And by utility tool, I mean just a utility blade. There's no hex driver, no pry bar, nothing on here aside from a lanyard hole. Locks into two positions on a standard blade. There are other blades out there that have more than one or more than two slots there. However, the only one that I have is a ceramic blade, and frankly that ceramic blade sucks. But with the four locking positions, I was getting a little bit of, it was sticking up in this vicinity on the longer lock positions, because the first slot falls in right there. So really your best bet is to go with the either two slot locking utility blade, or just use the blade this far out. Going any further than that, and you're really not doing yourself any favors. It will lock about here if you have a 4-slot utility blade. Here it is next to a Terra, another Snecx designed object. The Terra, however, was manufactured by Custom Knife Factory. Obviously I use this a lot, whereas the Mono was manufactured directly by Snecx himself. A couple more comparisons size-wise. Exponent. Norseman. I don't know. Tie bolt. So, or to extend the blade, you just press down a little bit. It locks into position. It really is intuitive. I keep undershooting it there on camera, but you just press a little bit, slide it forward, and then relieve pressure, and it continues to slide into the closest locking position. Right there. However, if you're doing it quickly and you continue to press the whole time, it will automatically lock right here, even if you're pressing pretty significantly. And that would be because of this little ridge right here. That little ridge right there also prevents this from happening. You can technically, pressing on it, you can't pull it out. So, daily cutting task, it's not going to remove the blade. I promise you, I can yank on this as hard as I want and it's not going to come out of there. However, if you turn it a little bit, it will. But it won't now, because of this little nub right there. It's possible, it's still possible, but you have to twist, let go, twist, let go, twist, let go, like 8 different times and ways in order to make it wiggle out of there, and it really has to be intentional. I could never see that coming out like that, using it as a tool. So if you press all the way at the back, it is possible to shoot the blade all the way out, as you just saw. But just pressing normally from the center or front of the tool, it's not going to happen. If you, again, press at the very back, it kind of is hard to move anyway. So really just pressing right there, you're good to go. Just kind of one of those muscle memory things in order to make it work out how it's supposed to. So another thing of note, this is writing directly on the titanium right there. There's some wear marks there and you can hear that. It must admit, it dulls the blade. If you're not playing with it constantly, obviously A, it's not going to do it that much. Obviously B, this is still plenty sharp enough to cut some cardboard, cut some straps off of a palette, whatever else you might use it for. So to me, that's a non-issue. I don't need it to slice through a piece of paper, except for at the tip, because I do use utility blades for that quite frequently, and it'll still do that, so that's not an issue for me. This is the version 2 of the Mono. You might have seen another review of the version 1. It's the only other video quote-unquote review that I could find. It mentioned another small issue, which I will show here. If you kind of press at the front very intentionally at the tip, you can see the back of the blade will ride into the handle there. Just don't do that, and it won't do that. I'm not trying to make excuses for the maker there. It's just kind of intentional misuse and intentional just looking for issues, you know what I mean? So, satin flats look really nice. Although with a tool like this, I don't expect the finish to last forever. I will quote-unquote abuse the absolute hell out of this thing. It's pretty awesome. Used it on some boxes today. I have no complaints. Secondary market prices, I'm sure, are going to explode until they become more readily available. But version 2, the difference is that I can see the edges are a little bit more round. And this is from pictures. I don't have the version 1. Although, potentially could get on the books. I've heard he might let me know. But this bar here, rather than being bent inwards on version 1, it could be both. But it looks to me like it's like this whole area is cut out. And then there's a little nubbin on the end here that provides pressure rather than bending the titanium. So I think version 1 looks better, but from somebody who's handled both and isn't Snecx, version 2 is a lot smoother, they say. So, and it's, you know, the looks are only that one little thing in the bar, I think just kind of looks kind of cool. But I'm happy. I will not be selling it. Good thing about something like this, like I said, you can abuse the absolute hell out of it, replace the blades, and not get your fancy, you know, quote unquote piece of pocket jewelry ruined. I use all my knives, but there's some things like the Terra, which I probably shouldn't be using on cardboard and packaging and whatever the heck else I've done with this poor thing. It should be used for a piece of fruit every once in a while or something, you know. But if this is in my pocket, I won't have the temptation to use my other knives on quote-unquote harder use.